At this time, I'll call the September 7th, 2023 meeting to order for the Dixon County Commission. Would you please stand and join in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have one item to add to the agenda, and that is the bids we received and purchased for a forklift. And I would move that we approve the agenda with that amended.
I'll second it.
We have the motion, we have the second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The consent agenda includes the minutes of the August 31st meeting, also expenditures of $367,457.84, utilities of $16,766.61, a security payment of $4,293, abatements $1,295.46.
I move to approve the consent agenda. Second.
We have the motion and the second for approval of the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commission comments. Ron?
I just want to make a few comments. We are still receiving information from citizens in our area in regard to the wind turbines, some negative, some positive, good or bad boards. So we're still having good communication that way. And we do appreciate folks contacting us, letting us know how they feel about whatever goes on in the county. So thank them.
Okay, Craig.
Yeah, last Thursday after the meeting here, Janelle and Marcus and I went to Minneapolis to the North Central Kansas Regional Planning Commission meeting. We had two of our legislators there. Nobody else attended. Scott Hill and Bill Bloom were there. I'd like to say it was good, but it wasn't.
Well, you're kind of leaving us hanging. It's you wanted more information than you received, or it was just neutral?
I didn't care for it.
Okay. So bad news?
No, it was good. Depends on who was hearing it.
Okay.
Let me. Oh, Janelle and Marcus, do you have anything to add to that?
I think the frustration is that it's probably going to continue status quo with the way it has been in the legislature for the last year, and the counties are going to be scapegoat. Yes, continued on. So maybe some unfunded mandates, possibly things like that. So yes, yeah.
Well, and I think.
Hey, well, Marcus hasn't agreed.
To say I would agree with that take.
You're agreeable. Well, one of the, and I think it's maybe a part of this, even though I wasn't there to hear this, if you talk to some of the legislators at Topeka, when something comes from the federal level and Congress or Senate and bills get signed and responsibilities that are unfunded mandates get passed to Topeka, or they control the funding and the projects, at Topeka, they're a little bit frustrated by that and say, we're more local. We should have more local control and more of a say of what happens in Kansas. But then that same situation or approach, sometimes they use that at Topeka, and instead of letting us take care of some of the local issues, it's sometimes they've kind of forget they like to be in charge of that. And
They do.
And I understand the check and balance. I understand the accountability. But, having said that, we're the ones that if we go into since I'm local here, if I go into West and someone sees me and they think of a county issue or a bridge or a road, or even like this morning, I mentioned I've stopped to talk to an individual and he asked about the accessibility to coming here to the courthouse. And we hear things on the local level and we like to solve it on the local level. So anyway. And other than that, I didn't have any comments as far as my commission comment. So we'll go ahead and move on here on the agenda. We do not have any proclamations, but this would be the time for public comment. And if there's anyone that would want to make a comment here or online, and I believe we have someone online that would like to make a comment, this would be your opportunity to do so. And what we'd like you to do, if you're here, to step up to the podium, and online, the same approach, give your name, your address, and what your concern is or your comment is. And so this is opportunity for that. And did Rhonda?
Rhonda does, yes.
Okay. So Rhonda, can you?
Yeah, hi.
Okay, we can hear you, so please go ahead.
This is Rhonda Beaupre at 201 Northeast 8th Street. Thank you for your service, guys. I appreciate you very much. But I'd like to encourage you to please try to find ways to save money and resist the inclination to expand services or raise costs to keep up with inflation. I think I speak for a lot of conservative voters in the county who prefer smaller, more limited government that taxes and spends less, letting the private sector provide services whenever possible. In particular, the mention of the motorized scooter that was mentioned in the work session this morning, it seems like an unnecessary expense with a wheelchair already available and curbside service already available. So I would encourage you guys to resist, please, because it's easier to stop the spending at the beginning rather than at the end of the year when you're talking about budgets and trying to find ways to cut back on things that you've already instituted. I hope you follow that reasoning. Thank you very much for allowing me to express my opinion.
And thank you, Rhonda. One thing I will mention about that, we just had a couple of individuals mentioned, could there be more accessibility, or would a motorized scooter, is that a possibility? And so really it was just brought up because that was a concern. But it's not something that I don't sense that we'll have any immediate decision on that. And for example, and I'm going to go ahead and call on Jeannie on this. I had asked her, what if someone does have a difficult time as far as accessibility to come into the courthouse? And so in the situation of voting where it's difficult for them to come to the courthouse, will you go ahead and mention how you handle that?
Curbside voting where we will take the ballot out to them. We also have mail that they can advance vote by mail. So
okay. So there are ways we address that, but I appreciate your concern too. And that's something, if someone brings something up to us and then we don't discuss it at all or bring it up, then they'll kind of question, why didn't you at least give the idea a chance to be discussed or have the awareness of it. So.
Nobody else online.
Okay. Are there other comments that anyone would have from the audience? This would be opportunity. Yes. So if you'd please step to the podium and.
Good morning. I'm Emily Morgan, and I live at 401 East 3rd Avenue, Hope, Kansas. I have a letter that I wrote to you guys and decided to read it. Okay. I'm writing you today concerning the proposed wind turbines coming to Dickson County. I've been to a couple of commissioner meetings and heard others discuss their opinions about them. I'm also concerned about the town of Hope, surrounding farms, ranchers, and the people of our communities in Dickinson County. I myself am a lover of animals, nature, and our beautiful scenery it provides. I have read on wind turbines and their effects on nature and our lands near them. I know for a fact they do cause problems with nature. The vibrations, noises alone run off nature. They kill beneficial animals, bugs, birds, bats, and provide nature's way in our environment or ecosystem. My cousin, for example, told me that her hens won't lay eggs on the days the turbines run, and they can't even go outside with family to visit because of the loud noises they make. Also, they have seen a lot of dead birds underneath them. The company wanted to hush them up about this with money, and they said no. These turbines are across the road from their home and farm. This will and is destroying friends and families' lives already and isn't even here yet. I want to mention the bad health effects concerns the wind turbines can cause with you. You need to do research and visit with others around who live by these wind turbines, not just leasers or what the wind companies tell you. They have been known to cause sleep problems, headaches, nausea, vertigo, seizures, and much more. The shadow effect also is disturbing if living near them, not to mention the oil leaks and fire dangers and damages if they fall in flames. Can our local firefighters handle this or have training for this? Here are some more hazards of wind turbines. Fires are 11.7 to 117 per year with 235 gallons of lubricants. Ice throws 50,000 per year. Localized weather radar effects, false weather radar echoes like tornado signatures, radar shadows, cell service, TV, and 911 interferences means public safety. In my opinion, if this was such a great idea, why did they keep this such a secret and hush-hush? With gag orders if you sign up a lease. This has gone on since 2015 till current. Also, they tell farmers and ranchers if they didn't sign, their neighbors would, or they will find a way to say your land is bad and do what they want anyway. This is so sad and already tearing families and friends apart. Okay, sorry. All because of greed and money. Is it worth families or children and farms work for over 100 years? Tax and other concerns are 10-year tax exemption, possible plot or payment in lieu of taxes. These plots will shortchange the county by millions. There is rapid depreciation of wind turbines. It makes massive subsidies. Putting in these turbines will cause damages to access roads with repair issues. Also repairs of adjacent properties of non-leasers and property insurance damages of adjacent properties. There will be property value concerns because of health, noise caused by infrasound of 35 to 40 decibels at max level, obstructive view, fire hazard, tower collapse, blade disgregation. Blades can deform, and the blades are made of toxic material that cause air pollution. Setbacks are not far enough away from family, farms, property lines, and towns. Who in their right mind would buy a home or farm or rent with these monstrosities? Legal concerns farmers should have are if the turbine company defaults and you have liens on your properties, right of way with additional road construction, length of their contracts with renewable issues. These will cause a leaser to have family estate issues in the future with their 50 to 90 year lease contracts. Your children and grandchildren have to deal with this mess. The wind turbine construction will cause interruptions in farming. Wind company only will be liable for the first 48 feet of topsoil. So there'll be a lot left with these 700 feet turbines underneath the ground. This makes land restoration hard for the farmers. Also, with signing up a lease, the developers now have the right to sell or transfer land without consent of the farmer. The developer also has a right to terminate or end payments, install a substation without landowner's consent. The farmer is liable for damages to adjacent properties, nuisance lawsuits, ice throws of 3,320 feet, tower collapse, blade failure, stray voltage proven that they can kill a whole herd of farmers' cattle. Electromagnetic interferences limits or prevents crop dusting and watershed issues. Turbines also cause soil compaction from construction. Water runoff patterns are altered and easement issues restricting use. Wind is not green. Turbines need more power, transmission lines to get power to the grid. This means remote areas like our beautiful Dickinson County is prime to them. Addition to fossil fuels, they use the power of their generators for wind. I feel it's an oxymoron. Environmental disaster for our farmlands like metal mining generators, toxic and radioactive waste. This is my little slice of heaven here in rural Hope, Kansas. I love taking photos of my county, its sunrises and sunsets. I feel like these companies of wind and solar want to get our farmlands by eminent domain if they can. If a utility is constructed and can prove that they have efficiency to produce power to distribute on the grid, and they then contract it to be sold via power purchase agreement to a public utility company, then they may petition on the KCC, who governs the power of eminent domain, for construction of power lines. So once constructed, it's all a done deal. This is a hunting county too, and they will run off any and all animals you hunt. This will cause lost revenue for ranchers and farmers. I see enough of these turbines to my south in Marion County. They're too close. Please rethink this project. There's more involved here than money. It's all about family and our health and protecting our lands owned for years. It's a scam to get your land in my eyes, and I do not want to see them here in Dickinson County. Please make this a public vote so we can all vote on this subject and it be fair to all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You want them?
I'll just take them and hand them out to you. If that's all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any additional comments or questions? Yes, if you step to the podium, please.
My name's Cynthia O'Bray, and I live at 105 Sherman and Hope. Emily touched a little bit on what this is doing to friends and family. Okay, we have already had to call police because our signs are missing. We've already called police on stalking. This is a terrible, terrible thing, what it's doing to people. It makes me sad. I grew up in Hope, I'll die in Hope. I have traveled the country and Europe and lived in Europe. I've seen a lot. To me, this is the worst thing we could do to ourselves. Thank you.
And when you mention the signs, those are the temporary signs people put up
Yes.
for the project or against it?
Yes.
And those are, okay.
And it's only ours. Because we.
I think that's, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? We'll go ahead and move on to the next item, and that's our report of county officers. And Doug Thompson isn't here, and so Janelle, anything he has you could bring in, but also your report as far as administration, if you'll do that now.
Okay, nothing from Doug. He is out in court in another county. So what I wanted to brief you on is Lisa received a letter from PVD, which is the Property Valuation Division there at the state of Kansas, and the results of our real estate appraisal and sales ratio study, which is pursuant to the statute. They have met all of our statistical performance standards. So that's on both commercial and residential property. And as you recall, part of the process in the statute is we're to review 1/6 of the county annually. So they have done that. And the confidence interval range and uniformity within each of our property classes have met or exceeded the range that PVD expects. So I've given you a copy of that, and I'm sure Lisa will touch on that next week at our department manager meeting. Also wanted to let you know, and you'll have it on your agenda, obviously, is we were approved for the bridge located at 1160 1100 Avenue over Turkey Creek, and this is an off-system bridge program. Unfortunately, we were denied for the 2500 Avenue bridge. Sounds like there were a lot of projects that were submitted to KDOT for their bridge program. So we'll try that again down the road. We'll have the 1900 Avenue bridge up on our list. As I touched on in the study session, 1145 First Road, as they were doing their drilling, they did hit a rock ledge. A little bit further to the west and where they had done the core drilling to start the project. So we're working on a solution. If we do go in and drill again, that'll be a cost of $20,000, but there could be a peer support that might work, and that's going to be obviously cheaper. And if you recall, this is a shared project with Clay County. So whatever fees that we end up receiving on that, it will be shared with them at 28 and 72%. So also wanted to let you know that the transfer station should be open on Monday, the 11th, after the concrete has cured. So that'll be good for the haulers. The rest of the transfer station is still open. Let me clarify. So you can still take out your limbs, your e-waste, things like that. And then also in your package, you've got the financial reports from Marcus. He's completed the month end, and I think everything looks pretty good, actually. So our sales tax is good, which is great. And that's all I have, unless you have any questions for him on that.
Well, and this might be something to get information on, but I've had a couple times people have brought up as far as demolition materials. And so I don't know if we have any changes on that, or
they have to take them to Geary County. We are not a C&D landfill, and that is a different permitting process, and it would be very costly for the county to start accepting that. So unfortunately, they'll have to go to another county to take their C&D.
Okay. And then the plans for a cleanup.
Yes, we are working on plans for a cleanup. There'll be information going out. And right now we're looking at the week of October 16th through the 20th. So we'll have more information once they get the letter drafted and sent out to the cities and see how many are going to participate and make it a countywide cleanup and do that. We do that every 2 years. So.
And I believe on that, we get information out as well as the cities would, as far as what type of materials can be received and so on, because I know,
yes,
sometimes if something isn't acceptable, I mean, it's either get turned away or the cities won't pick it up and leave it on the curb. So just
exactly.
Information, maybe that's something that could be on the radio program when it gets a little closer.
Sure.
If John continues to invite us there to KBI. Well, it's a good means of getting information out as well as the Reflector Chronicle. So
yes, and it'll be on our website.
I guess you reach out to the other newspapers also in the county. Okay, notices and communications. As Ron mentioned, we continue to receive written information and comments in regards to the wind turbines, on what people's concerns are, if they happen to be for it or if they happen to be against it. We also received our county newspaper for our review. The Eisenhower Presidential Library is having a legacy dinner, and that's going to be taking place September. The RSVP is to be by September 27th. It takes place October 14th. So if we're interested in having anyone attend on behalf of the county, or if anyone individually wants to attend, that would be possible. There is limited seating on that. We also have a Dixon County Drug Court graduation, and that is to be taking place September 20th. So we'll have that on our calendars and information on that. Was there any other additional information that anyone received that they would want to bring up at this time?
No.
And I had a solicitation here from Go Government, and it has to do with a service that they provide if we want to consider that. They've reached out to us, and sometimes as a commission, we receive that. And typically what we do is we do direct it to administration for consideration. That's all I have. We do not have any resolutions. No unfinished business. Under other business, the first thing we have is an MOU with the city of Harrington. So Janelle, if you'd give us the background on that.
So probably longer ago than I remember, maybe it was last year, the all hazard response vehicle, or the rescue truck as we call it, that is stationed in Harrington, that the county assisted with Homeland Security monies to purchase, was damaged in an accident. And unfortunately, the vehicle was totaled. So the city of Harrington has been able to locate a replacement vehicle for this. They have a temporary vehicle that they've been using, but it's not adequate. And the rescue truck rolls on injury accidents, and they'll be on county, be in city, they'll be out on state highways. So, and if memory serves, in the southern part of the county, that they have responded to well over 100 injury accidents last year where the rescue truck was needed. And it also has the Jaws of Life on it. So unfortunately, between the insurance settlement and the monies that they would have with their reserves, they have a down payment that they'll need. So they have come to the county asking for some assistance. We have some money that we have set aside in our all hazard response vehicle funds that we'll be able to use for that. So the MOU is just outlining the purchase of that and the repayment from the city of Harrington for the vehicle. The hope is once the vehicle is here and outfitted, that it will be used for at least 10 to 15 years. And then we would be able to remount the box on a new chassis. So, which will be a good thing. So we want to make sure that we have the safety and security of our citizens covered in the southern part of the county. And that's what this would do.
Okay. Is there a motion to go ahead and enter into this memorandum of understanding with the city of Harrington? Craig, you said so moved.
I'll second it.
We have the motion, we have the second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next we have is a support letter for the city of Abilene, and this is for a grant application.
So last week we met with the City of Abilene on their 14th Street project, and the area identified is the corner of 14th and Van Buren as you're headed west out on 14th Street. That's a turkey neck there, and the project that they've identified is to apply for funding to improve that area, straighten out that curve, probably put a stop sign there. And they're asking for a letter of support for the grant application as we move forward with this project. Now, I will tell you that the project probably won't be approved and let until probably 2025. And we're estimating that the cost to make those improvements there is over $3 million, and it would be split up between the city, the county, and then the KDOT cost share program for this. So, yeah. A roundabout. That was not discussed.
Okay.
So, and that would add considerable amount of dollars to the project.
It's a stop sign.
I will bring that up to Ron, but so.
Lynn's idea.
Oh, Lindsay, okay, I'll let him know. So
I didn't bring that up.
I will ask that. I don't remember if it was discussed or not.
It's probably been discussed.
Down a long time ago.
The terrain of the land there drops off, so there's lots of improvements that would have to be made.
Exactly.
And then also on a roundabout, you often think about it in a vehicle, how you maneuver around that, but also considering the trucks have to be using that. It's
right.
Martini Drive up there, we got away with that one there that goes to the Colbert. They're redoing that now, I guess.
Yes, they need to redo that one without a doubt. So, but the city of Abilene, Ron Marsh has reviewed the letter and he will have it on the city's agenda for Monday. So we would just ask for you to approve this letter.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have the motion, we have the second for this support letter for the city of Abilene for a grant application. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item we have is the approval of the 1100 Avenue Bridge. And so Janelle, you're up again.
So as I touched briefly in my notes, KDOT has approved the bridge project at 1100 Avenue, and this is over Turkey Creek near Navarre. It is a 73-year-old bridge, and the project estimation is $1.35 million. The funding is through the KDOT cost share program, which is let me find my notes on this. I believe it's an 80-20 split.
And for our portion, where is the funding for that?
So the portion that we're proposing, the monies would come out of, Martin believes he'll be able to pay for it out of his bridge project line item in his budget. If not, then the cost would come out of the sales tax. But the first thought is to use it out of his operating budget. So I believe this is a 90-10 split. So, and then along with that, you have the professional surveying and engineering services with Cobb Valley for our portion of the bridge project on that. Now, I will remind you that the estimate from Chad came in at $89,960, but that is going to be spread over 3 years that it's going to take for this project to take place, because that will include the coordination with KDOT, the design, and also any easement research, geo-boring, construction staking, and then also as the project is going on, it'll be the inspection services as well. So we're not going to be paying all of that up front. So I have 2 documents for you to sign on that.
When you mention it's a line item, I mean, we always anticipate there's a certain amount of bridges that will have to be replaced or repaired.
Right.
That's sometimes unexpected, but at what point do we just decide maybe a bridge can't be replaced and maybe the road needs to be closed, or is that?
So we would consider traffic and also look at the use of the area around that, and if there's a way to get around it within a reasonable distance. And that's part of our decision making in that. We would talk with our highway, road, and bridge supervisor and our county engineer for their recommendation as well before we make that decision. And then cost has to be a factor in this. This is $1.35 million. And obviously we felt it was important to have it in the scope to be replaced or repaired if possible. But there are probably other bridges out there. As you know, we've got over 300 bridges in the county that we have to look at, and not all of them would meet those qualifications to be replaced or repaired.
And along with the traffic, you still have the access for emergency vehicles. You still have people making deliveries, whether it's FedEx or the post office. You have school buses. So, I mean, there's a lot of variables.
There is, and that's why we look for ways, different access around that is reasonable. So, and for instance, the bridge on 1100 Avenue that was damaged by the fire that we're still waiting on, there is paved road 1 mile to the west and 2 miles, I believe, to the east. And then also we are improving Vane Road with rock so they can go south 1 mile and get around as well. So it's not the most convenient, but that's also another $1 million bridge. So.
Okay.
$2 million, $2 million bridge.
Is there a motion for approval to accept this proposal from KDOT?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have the motion and the second for approval of this acceptance for this bridge through KDOT. It's location 1160 1100 Avenue Bridge. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item was an addition to the agenda, and that is for a forklift. And so now we have the report on that.
Commissioners, you had discussed this briefly 2 weeks ago and asked that we basically take the forklift that we were proposing to purchase for a test drive, so to speak. So it has been out at Environmental Services for a few days. We've received 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? 4 quotes, 3 of them actually from List Solutions and 1 from Berry Material Handling. The request or the recommendation from staff is the bid from Lift Solutions, Inc. for $33,800. And this is for a Hyundai 5,000-pound capacity with pneumatic tire forklift. It's a 2.4 engine. It's got power steering, a backup alarm. It's got a 36-month warranty, 4,000 hours standard warranty. All of the bids that we received were for similar forklifts. The use is going to be out there primarily to be moving chemicals, a few things for the environmental service side, maybe lifting a stump, not moving a bunch of trash and that. So the recommendation, like I said, is for the Lift Solutions at $33,800 with a trade-in value of $3,000. And the forklift that we're replacing is a 2018 Healy that we've been having numerous problems with.
No, it's not. It's 2018. It's when we got it.
2018, that's right. It's 2018 when we purchased it, and we purchased it used. So, and we've had numerous problems with it. In fact, it's been down over the past 16 months, 8 months of the year. So it's not been usable despite our best attempts to repair it. So Lift Solutions has been out and tried to work on it, and we've got a good relationship with them. So that's the recommendation from staff.
We accept the staff's recommendation.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second to accept staff's recommendation for this forklift from Lift Services. They're out of Wichita.
Lift Solutions.
Lift Solutions.
They are out of Wichita, but they will have a repair shop in Salina.
And I'll just add, Derek, when he was here earlier, mentioned this would probably last 15 to 20 years.
At least.
As well as it's a machine that's not going to be broken down like our current one is often. So, if you project that out, it's just a few $1,000s a year when you consider how long it's going to last. Okay, we had the motion, the second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Before we adjourn, I will mention that in our work study session, we have an opening in planning and zoning. We had, it's a volunteer board. We had 3 applications. We heard from Kelly Fink, Pam Wells, and Kyle Griffiths. And so we will be reaching the decision on that appointment next week. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second it.
We have the motion and second to adjourn. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.